Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here, and I've got a bombshell of a report to share with you. And that is this. Back when Obama was president, back in October of 2016, him and his White House quietly and secretly produced a document and a plan that outlined activities of what they should do in the event of a cyber attack on the 2016 election or all elections going forward. Now, this particular document, as you're going to see in a moment, because I'm going to take you straight to the source, it included extraordinary measures that should be taken, and these extraordinary measures include sending armed military personnel to polling places, mobilizing parts of the military, including the National Guard, and launching counter-propaganda efforts. Now, this document was leaked to Time magazine, I believe last month or even before that, but that's when it came out, just this last month. And it's just, here's the thing. Before I get to the document, let me share this. Earlier last year, I reported that Obama turned our elections into a federal thing. How did he do that? Well, right before he left office, he decided to classify our elections as, quote, critical infrastructure. What happens when you classify it as critical infrastructure? Well, it becomes part of the federal rule. And so the feds have a run in that. So here we have Obama right before the election, classifying it, right before Donald Trump got into office, classifying it as critical infrastructure. Then we also have this report that you're about to see of him attempting to go ahead and enforce the feds on our election. Take a look at the document itself. If you see on the screen here, it's titled Election Infrastructure Preparedness and Response Planning Group Concept of Operation. Now, this document, I'm going to read real quick what the scope is. It establishes the federal response for a cyber incident that is a group or of related cyber incidents that together are likely to result in demonstrable impact to the election infrastructure during the 2016 U.S. election. Now, what is the role of the federal government? They should stay out of the election. It is the state's rule. But considering that Obama made it into part of our critical infrastructure, now it's federalized. But he says, what is the role? In most all potential cases of malicious cyber activity impacting election infrastructure, state, local, tribal, and territorial governments, to include their law enforcement agencies, will have primary jurisdiction to respond. They will be able to respond, military force or law enforcement agencies included in this case that we just read. But he goes on to say that on-scene response efforts of the federal government generally will occur at the behest of the owners and operators of any impacted entities, including state and local officials who have primary jurisdiction over many different aspects of the electoral process and have the authorities to respond to cyber incidents affecting their networks and systems. Now, it goes on to say in the next sentence there that they are going to develop, the cyber response group has directed for the formation of a cyber unified coordination group to coordinate these activities, which they will share with the FBI, the DHS, and the Cyber Threat Intelligence Integration Center there. Now, on page 2 of the document, it details a little more of those specifically involved. You can see DHS, National Association of Secretaries of State, state and local election officials, U.S. Election Assistance Commission, National Institute of Standards and Technology, Department of Justice, the FBI, and Department of Defense Federal Voting Assistance Program. Now, if we move on to page 4 of the document, it says at the very top there, in the event of election-related incidents requiring a substantial DOJ or FBI response, says violence at polling places, coordinating voter intimidation, or a significant cyber incident, an incident command post will be established by either the local FBI field office or the responsible FBI division. But that's not the most concerning part. What I really want to focus on, if you turn over to page 5, it says significant incident response efforts. And it goes on to say, if DHS, DOJ, FBI, and CTIIC assess that a cyber incident on election day is likely to result in demonstrable impact to the election infrastructure or to be considered a level 3 orange or higher according to the government cyber incident severity, DHS, FBI, and CTICC will activate enhanced procedures, keyword, and allocate the resources described in their enhanced coordination procedures to coordinate the incident response activities. The following resources are available in the event of a significant cyber incident and will be allocated at the discretion of their agency's executive management to respond appropriately. Well, what are these things that they can use, that can be allocated, that can be sent to those particular places that are in need? Well, the CTF, the Cyber Task Force that brings together federal, state, and local law enforcement agencies in each area of responsibility to facilitate joint information sharing, incident response, law enforcement, that's law enforcement, guns, everything, and intelligence community. Another one, the RCFL cyber group, the FBI surge capability, or the FBI cyber division, major cyber crimes unit can be sent out there. DHS respond mechanisms can go out there, or also on the following page, they also talk about efforts after election day as well. So those are some of the things that you see. Moving on now to page 12, you see the Department of Defense there. That can be one of the departments that are called in. But it says the DoD may support civil authorities in response to cyber incidents based upon a request from a federal agency and the direction of the Secretary of Defense or the President. Support may be provided based on the needs of the incident, the capabilities required, and the readiness of available forces. Available forces for incident response in a federal status could include the active and reserve components, to include the National Guard. So yes, the National Guard can be called upon as well. Well, there you have it. That is a 15-page plan put out by Obama while he was the President of the United States of America, showing how active he plans our elections to be and how much he wants the feds involved in the election process, including everything from, if the need arises, sending military personnel to a local polling place near you. Now, I'm sure there's mixed feelings on all of that, but there's a lot of things to think about here. First of all, before Obama left office, or right before Trump got in, he classified our elections as critical infrastructure. Critical infrastructure falls under the banner of the federal government. So now what he's done is he federalized our election. Then he also had an undisclosed plan. This was not to be made public, but made public by Time magazine sometime thereafter. But this plan was not to be leaked. It is now out for the public eye, and it proves that federalizing the election process was something that Obama had in store all along, and that's exactly what happened here. And so now we have military style personnel, if need be. We can call in the National Guard, the Joint Terrorism Task Force, whatever the case is, they can be called in at a polling place near you, armed and everything. Well, I guess I'll ultimately leave that call of what you think about that document, but you don't have to take my word for it. I showed you the actual report, and I encourage everyone to read it in its entirety. It's a 15-page report. It's not too long, again, it's a plan by the Obama administration, something that they had in the works all the time. And again, it was undisclosed. They didn't want anyone knowing about this particular plan. But I say it's obvious that Obama, knowing the direction he went in, had something in the works all along. And my other question is this. He talks about in that document, and I didn't show you this, and it's somewhere in the mid, about setting up on November 1st, running through some of these activities. And then it goes on to talk about what's going to happen on November 8th in order to prevent these things from going on. If that was actually in play or not, I do not know. But if it was, then how did Russia hack the election if you had all these parameters in place? Or maybe there was these parameters were actually what caused it. Well, I don't know. Anyhow, I'll leave that for you to decide. Just wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Please make sure you check out my partner, one of an amazing, amazing, amazing partner, and that is virtualshield.com/go/Lisa Haven. There is 20% off still right now. And if you don't know what a VPN, it basically scrambles your IP address to keep it simply so the government can't track so much of what you do. At least they can't track every website you go to from where you're sitting at. I think everyone should have it because it is being banned in countries like China and Russia and UAE. So make sure you have a VPN right now, 20% off. I'll leave a link below. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all that. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.